But the real truth is that you don't need him. You need to learn to be alone and how to find safety in your body, in your nervous system, so that you can start to learn to make healthy choices and learn what discernment is around a partner. If you've got a really strong urge to connect to a person that is toxic or unhealthy or hasn't treated you well, and you've spent most of your time in connection with them being unhappy or on a roller coaster or just really emotional, and it's been an unpleasant experience for you, yet you still have this deep urge of needing them, needing to be around them, needing to be connected to them, needing to be physical with them, despite the fact that they've hurt you so much, you need to listen to this video. The truth is that need that's coming from deep within your body is actually a trauma response. It's actually a way that your body and your nervous system is trying to get to safety by being in connection with them, because of the way that your blueprint has been wired from your earliest experiences in relationship with your primary caregivers and those around you, and your other romantic relationships where you experienced love that came with pain and that came with the roller coaster and that came with that dopamine effect of the high highs and the low lows. Your body is stuck in a trauma response, and the only way it currently knows how to get to safety is through connection with whoever your primary attachment is. And if you have a significant level of limerence and love addiction, you've probably always had some kind of primary attachment figure in the form of a romantic partner that has provided that level of self-soothing for you. But the real truth is that you don't need him. You need to learn to be alone and how to find safety in your body, in your nervous system, so that you can start to learn to make healthy choices and learn what discernment is around a partner. The problem with this pattern, other than the obvious, which is tolerating unhealthy and toxic behavior from a romantic partner, is because it's deep in our nervous system, this desire for closeness, which is effectively the trauma response, it completely bypasses any ability we have to discern well, like, is this partner actually right for us? It doesn't give us that space and that choice and that connection to ourselves to really assess compatibility. So you're literally at the whim of whoever comes your way during your life that represents some kind of familiar feeling or emotion in you that you felt when you were younger. And if you were raised in a family where your parents were either emotionally neglectful, abusive, there was significant abandonment, or even a loving household where there is subtle levels of abandonment, where your bids for connection and love weren't met most of the time, you are going to be naturally attracted to those partners because they're going to trigger this feeling of safety. So whenever you think, gosh, I feel like home with him and he feels so familiar, just know that that is your body in a trauma response trying to get to safety, and you've got to relearn what the safety experience is like in your body so that you can break that pattern. So you're not actually longing for him. You're longing for safety. And safety looks like being in connection with a person and really feeling seen and feeling held and feeling enough just as you are. But because of your blueprint where you've attached to someone who naturally will trigger all of your old core wounds, you will never fully achieve safety with that person. There'll be that old familiar feeling, and then there will be a significant break in that where that person hurts you or dismisses you or gaslights you and projects onto you. So you're going to be in this constant roller coaster of needing safety. It's like putting your hand out to reach something to try and get safety, but then that thing you're always reaching for is a hot iron that is going to burn you continuously. And you're just going to stay in this same pattern again and again until you learn how to disconnect from them and learn how to establish safety in your body. Now, the reason why being alone is so challenging is, one, you've got this really strong connection to someone where your body is so wired to get connection and get safety from them, despite the fact that it's so hurtful. And you probably haven't spent a lot of time on your own, or maybe you have spent periods of time, but there hasn't been any person on the horizon, and it's been really easy to kind of keep these attachment wounds at bay. They haven't even really come up. So what you've got to learn about disconnecting from someone that you're in this kind of trauma bond with is that there are two different aspects to loneliness. Loneliness itself is going to be the ache of discomfort of that disconnection. You're going to go through a period of withdrawal where you're going to be wanting them and wanting to connect with them, and they're not going to be there because they're not right for you. And it is going to feel like you're withdrawing from a drug, like you were maybe hooked on on some other kind of addictive substance, it will feel exactly the same way. And what we've got to learn to do is to be able to sit in the discomfort of that kind of experience and not make it about us, that we're never going to be enough, that we'll always be alone forever. Because this is just truly a season. You're breaking patterns in this moment that you choose to leave a toxic relationship, an unhealthy partner, and you're learning to actually turn a spotlight onto what's going on within you that's causing this pattern. Now, spending time alone is incredible medicine because it allows you the opportunity for reconnection, where you're not able to reach out and just get that hit of dopamine, and it's almost like that allows you to completely bypass whatever's going on in you, right? Because you're so focused on them and you're getting these dopamine hits from them that just flood your body. Instead of that kind of thing happening, what you're doing is you're opening yourself up to what's actually inside of you. And what stops a lot of women from doing this is the fear of what they're going to find and the fear that they're not going to like what they see. But actually facing yourself is one of the bravest things you can do if this is a pattern of yours, because you are ultimately going to be reconnecting and reparenting and re-loving who you are. And if we don't have ourselves for the rest of our lives, who do we have? We can even have a healthy partner that we're in relationship and marriage with for 40 years, but we will ultimately always be alone and we'll always be with ourselves. So this is the most important relationship we have. And you have a gift where you've got this level of pattern that's just been so uncomfortable and toxic and unhealthy that you know you've got to break it, and you know you've got to go through this dark night of the soul. If you can see this next few months and year as a gift, as a true opportunity for healing, then you will start to make improvements as you notice you're making choices for yourself, choosing yourself, and the parts within you are going to see that and know that, and your self-esteem and your self-respect is going to grow as a result. Because being alone is actually where your identity gets a chance to rebuild. We've spent all of our life in relationship with others and getting our identity sense through the filter of them, and we've got to now learn how to build our own identity through the filter of us. What is our intuition? What does my true voice feel like in my body? Where are the parts within me that light up and open up, that tell me that I'm speaking my truth and feeling that something is right about me, as opposed to always seeking outside of ourselves for connection and relationship, where we effectively bypass our body and bypass those feelings, and we're living in our mind constantly seeking the next dopamine hit. There is no chance at all for identity to be built in that kind of environment and that context. So when you're on your own, you're able to feel into your body and to notice, what is that trauma response? What does it feel like? Often it feels like a very tight clenching response within you, as opposed to your points of intuition where it feels like an expansion in the body. So you'll be able to discern and notice the difference between this distortion in your body and this openness, this alive and vibrantness. This also opens you up to knowing what your preferences are, what you like, what you want. Because in that pursuit of connection, just for the sake of basic safety, you're at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy needs, just trying to get your safety needs met through someone else. There's absolutely no chance for any of those other needs to even come out, like what kind of meals you prefer, what kind of movies you like to watch, because you're always associating those hobbies and pursuits with the person that you're connecting to for basic safety needs. When you have that level of safety and containment within yourself, you're actually able to get to know yourself at a more deeper level, because those desires and those prompts are coming out from you, and that's making you more alive, and you're remembering who you used to be. One really beautiful practice that I know helps here is to recall what you loved as a child before these patterns and these maladaptive behaviors took over. What really lit you up when you were young? What can you do now as an adult to relive some of those moments? Any kind of inner child creativity work, finger painting, drawing will help you to get back to that feeling in your body of being joyful, of being free. And it might seem weird and counterintuitive, but those emotions actually give us access to a level of safety in our body that we haven't had access to when we've been constantly clinging and trying to get our safety needs met met through someone. And I just really want to honor where you're at, because society tells us as women that we're only valuable when we've been chosen by a man, and when we're a wife, and when we're a mother, and when we're giving everything to others. So what you're doing is no small feat. It's really a very significant cultural and societal shift. Yes, it's come off the bat of these unhealthy patterns, but there is an incredible container that you can create for yourself that's very sacred as a woman, where you get to choose yourself and you get to know yourself on a level that other women before you haven't. This period of time is a sacred initiation for you. This is not you being behind in life. This is you becoming into yourself, becoming whole, choosing all parts of yourself. And the absolute truth is that when a woman is connected to all parts of herself and knows herself deeply, she is able to give so much more to others around her, because her cup is so full, it's overflowing. So what I want you to do, if you're in this space and you are connected to someone who isn't right for you, and you know that you need to disconnect, what I want you to do is find small moments of safety for yourself, to do some nervous system and self-soothing practices, to take time out of your day just to be alone, to just feel what's going on inside of you, and make sure that you stay safe whilst you do that. I love to take a warm bath, or to even go for a walk with a trusted friend, or to speak to a therapist, or work with a coach even. Make sure that there is safety around this work that you do when you're going inward and sitting with the uncomfortable emotions inside of you. Because there is another aspect of this discomfort and work where some people suggest to dive into the discomfort, and this actually blows you outside of your window of tolerance, and you can get re-traumatized. You can get stuck in a shame spiral, which I've talked about on my channel a little bit in my video about toxic shame. I don't want you to do that, because you will go back some steps. The absolute best way to move through this level of attachment and abandonment trauma that causes us to be stuck in unhealthy and toxic relationships is to understand that safety is the first practice you need to learn. And that when you are trying to reach out, or when you are reaching out to that person, you are literally just giving your body this old imprint of safety that is just the only way you've learned. But there are other ways to learn, and we can learn and grow as human beings. We have neuroplasticity. We can learn new skills, and that includes finding safety in the body. So find some solo practices you can do that you love: yoga, meditation, breath work. Find some close, trusted friends or even family members that you can feel safe with to speak. And if you don't have any of those connections available, find a good therapist or find a good coach. And of course, I would love to help you with that. So if you want more help in this process of letting go, disconnecting, and finding safety in your body, this is the work that I teach my clients inside Heal Your Heart School. I would love to help you with that. Please book a discovery call with me in the link in the description below. In the meantime, here are some next step videos for you to watch to help you get one step closer to being whole and healed and happy and safe in your body. And for now, I will see you in the next video.